There we go. Good evening, folks. God, y'all remember that movie Dodgeball? F and A Cotton. So I've been doing a lot of, just kind of like spiritual, scientific, talk and things like that. And I think it's been good. I have so much more that I want to get out. It's just going to take time, and I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. Some of the stuff I'm honestly waiting just until I get a little bit bigger footprint, because people don't go back and look at old videos like they used to. I mean, I do. I think some of you probably do. Most of the folks that are listening to me now probably do because yeah, you guys are pretty sharp, pretty spot on. So that's awesome. Hang on, let me put my monitor in here. Hopefully that sounds well, it's about the same, I'm sure, but now at least I can hear myself, so I know if I'm talking too loud or not loud enough. So, what I have done in the last few days is I've expanded some of my social media, just to try to drive a few more people to my page. I'm not like going balls out trying to, promote or anything like that. I'm still trying to enjoying being under the radar. Um, because less scrutiny means that you have a little bit more freedom before you start running into walls of things that you can talk about. And there are certain things that you cannot talk about on Facebook, certain procedures that may have taken place over the last couple of years that we just don't really have the platform to discuss. But I can talk about news. Now, one of the things, if you notice from my channel, is you don't see political stuff, because I think that that's part of the deception. In fact, I'm convinced that it is. And I know not everybody is there. And so the best thing that will do is be divisive for some people, and be, other people will probably like it and probably agree with me. Um, when I look at that, is it fruitful for me to be divisive? Sometimes, yes. I think sometimes, yes. And let me explain. So sometimes I think that it is perfectly okay to set your boundaries in such a way that people who are taken over by a spirit that you do not want in your life can't have access to it, or don't want to have access to it. And I think that that's perfectly fine to do. And so I will do that. So if you follow me on Facebook at all, which a few people do, not a lot, but I have some friends on Facebook. Like recently, that's one of the platforms that I tried to expand a little bit, and I just got a bunch of Q conspiracy fucking horse crap. Oh my god! So what I wanted to do is I wanted to hit on something. I wanted to hit on something that no one talks about. And I think when you do talk about it, you get pushed down a little bit. So, but there are laws that are on the US books that some people know about. And I think people are starting to know a little bit more about, but they've been around for a while. Noahide laws. Noahide laws are Jewish law for Gentiles. And violation of such is punishable by death. So let's look a little bit about who we might be um, propping up. First off, here's a photo of George Bush Sr., good old George Bush, who Q said he wrote a letter to all the other, conspirators that came in to play after him that said they know everything. I'm sorry, on his deathbed. You've seen those where, everybody was upset and angry and pushed their nose up at Donald Trump because Trump was going to fix it. Okay. So there, George Bush signing Noahide laws. There's Donald Trump holding the Torah. There's George Bush Jr. upholding the commitment to Noahide laws. There's Trump upholding the commitment to Noahide laws. There's Ronnie Reagan getting a menorah. Okay. All right. So there you go. So at least what you can see through documentation is that there has been an involvement with this for a while. Now, I think it's important to note that, and I'm being very, cautious about how I talk about
also in worshiping
the
devil, participated in
not everybody is in charge or in control, and not all of the actors know that they're actors, but some of them definitely know that they are actors. Okay. So this is back in 1989. This happens to be a Jewish woman, and she explains how her family was involved with child sacrifice on the Oprah show.
In human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations. She is currently in extensive therapy, suffers from multiple personality disorder, meaning she's blocked out many of the terrifying and painful memories of her childhood. Meet Rachel, who is also in disguise to protect her identity. You come from generations of ritualistic abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree, and they keep track of who's been involved and who hasn't been involved. And it's gone back to like 1700.
1700s.
And so you were...
Right. I was born into a family that believes in this.
And does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl?
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really? And so who knows about it? Lots of people now.
I talked to a police detective in the Chicago area, and several of my friends know, and I've spoke publicly before. And
so when you were brought up in this kind of evilness, did you just think it was normal?
I've blocked out a lot of the memories I had because of my multiple personality disorder. But yes, I mean, it's like if you grow up with something, you think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought
So what kinds of things? You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to, you know...
Whose babies?
There were people who bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight.
Okay, I want you to catch this. She just said there were people that bred babies in her family. They were overweight, no one would know about it, and then they would be born and they would use those babies for their rituals.
Right, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not, or they would supposedly go away for a while and then come back. The other thing I want to point out, not all Jewish people sacrifice babies. I mean, no. It's not a very...
That's a very important thing what she just said. Not all Jewish people do this. It's not, but it is something that exists, and it's something that actually exists closer to the power structure than you think or than you realize. I just feel like being careful because I don't want to be labeled anti-Semitic or anything like that. And that's part of the deception, by the way, are those types of languages. I don't have a problem with somebody being Jewish. I have a problem with child sacrifice.
This is the first time I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so yeah, you witnessed...
Oprah said she doesn't know any Jewish people sacrificing babies. Oprah with Harpo Productions, as in Harpo Marx, as in Harpo Marx, the brother of Karl Marx, as in both Jewish, Marxists.
The sacrifice, right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Uh-huh. Power. And so, were you ever used?
Does she look like she has any power? She's a shell. Look at her. She's a shell of a human being. She doesn't even really grasp what happened to her.
Were you ever used yourself? I was molested. I was raped several times.
Mm-hmm. And what's your mother doing?
She's...
In all of this? What's her role in all of this?
I'm not exactly what her role is. I haven't, recovered all of my memories, but her family was extremely involved. Mm-hmm. She brought me to it. Both of my parents brought me to it.
And where is she now?
She's lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in.
Okay, so you know what? She's talked about that enough. And I understand that we are not saying that every Jewish person does this or is involved in such. I get that. That's not the accusation. I'm not even making an accusation. I'm just sharing facts with you, factual things, truth, things that people have witnessed and spoken of. Now, here is in the Knesset, here is a rabbi who's greeting other rabbis and paying them to show up to this and telling them what's for. Listen.
Shmuel Jakob von der Maske von Knesset. Shmuel Jakob von der Maske von Knesset.
Bring all Jews under the wings of God's divine presence. Okay.
Amen.
Including the ministers of Knesset. I don't know what Knesset is. You can probably figure that out. Even the non-Jewish ministers, there are, or I think he's saying they are obligated to the 7 Noahide laws. The non-Jews are obligated to the 7 Noahide laws. So you must educate them as he's given them money.
Yeah.
This is for your product.
Gut, das sagt ihr, dass mir Jasche sein, mit sie kennen verschlufen, mit der Handel sehen, dass sie zugepasst hat, das Programm. Wenn sie Masken sind, bin ich hier mit Masken. Das ist was los. Das Verlachen, das war der Hauptwoche nach 40 Jahren. Weil mit sie gewesen, mit sie gelandet, und so kann jeden Tag wirklich gestorben sein.
So it didn't look like he was giving out lots of money, but it's still, look at this. This is a reward for you, and it's a monetary reward. And that's going to have some other implications, right? So here we go. You know, you see the new Facebook friends that I have liking my posts. That's awesome. You guys rock. There we go. So one of the things that that has come up recently, and that's actually been a news article. Actually, let me back up. Joe Biden's a Catholic. Donald Trump is a Jesuit. Jesuits are under the Catholic order. Well, Jesuits really run the Catholics, but we pretend that they're not, or they don't run the Catholics, right? And we pretend the Catholics are Christians and blah, 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 blah. We're all Christians. Why aren't we wearing yarmulkes? And there is no Joe Biden pictures at the Wailing Wall, but there is Joe Biden at the Wailing Wall. That's really interesting. Is Joe even still alive? If you understood what, if it, yeah, it's really hard to, explain everything. But one of the things that I'm going to tell you is that the leading cause of death, and this there's an article about it here, and I shared it on my Facebook page, and you can find it if you'd like to. I'd like to share it here right now. So first off, this is Trump back in December 8th, 2020. Donald Trump, who you see here holding his Jesuit signs up, went to a Jesuit high school. You know, clearly he's an outsider, right? This, you know, the Simpsons said he was going to be president, 20 years ago, but clearly he's an outsider. Involved in WWE, but no connections, right? Okay, yeah. Trump hails approved coronavirus vaccine as a medical marvel. And back in 2020, he called the vaccine a medical marvel. Operation Warp Speed. It's a very good thing. It's going to save millions of lives. Very good thing. You should take it. You should do this medical procedure. Published July 5th, 2022. Deaths with unknown cause, now Alberta's top killer. That's the only place in the US that I found that article coming out. But unknown causes. Oh no. Oh no, is that a Jesuit hand gesture? Nah. We all do mudras. Yeah, Trump's not involved. Why is Alec Baldwin's little weird brother doing the same thing? Is that one of the Baldwin? That's Billy Baldwin, right? That's like that's like the when they cloned him, that's like the mistake that they made. And they're like, well, Billy's kind of cute, so let's just let him run around with Trump. And Trump's like, look at the look on Trump's face. He's like, God damn it. I gotta fucking stand next to this stinky little pants pooper. Anyway, no, he's doing it there. You kidding me? That's a young Donald Trump. And he's doing it there. No, can't be said. I don't know who this guy is, but he's doing it too. Is that Warren Buffett? No, can't be. Say it's not so. Oh, Trump doing it again. No, but we all do mudras, so it's just the way that Trump sits. Like he's not involved at all. He didn't. Yeah, he had no role in this at all. Wait a minute, what is that? Oh my God, is that a picture? So wait, so hang on. So in this picture in Trump Tower, there's a lion, the Lion of Judah. Mm-hmm. And he's got his little son riding on it because it's stuffed lion. There's yeah, Trump sitting there. What's he doing with his hands? Oh, it must be a natural thing. It's a completely candid picture, right? Totally candid. Look, she flipped this out and put her hand on her hip because that's how candid the picture is. Wait, my God, he's doing it in a second candid picture? No. What? No way. Medical marvel. We don't know why everyone's dying. No, can't be. No, it's just happening because Trump is, he just does that, no, he's not with them at all. He's against, he's faking. Okay, let's talk about Noahide laws. Here we go. Let's talk about Noahide laws a little bit. What are the 7 Noahide laws? Okay, so, and you can look this up. This is true. Those pictures where you saw George Bush signing something with a bunch of rabbis standing by him, he was signing into law Noahide laws. Trump gave power to FEMA to enforce Noahide laws during emergencies, by the way. I'm just saying. Prohibition on idolatry. Prohibition on blasphemy and cursing the name of God. Okay, so you can't worship any idols, so you have to worship the God that they want you to worship. Okay, cool. Blasphemy, censorship, that you cannot say what we don't want you to say. Murder, well, yeah, okay. I think we can, as a society, we can agree that it's cool that we don't want to just, make it okay for people to go around killing random people, right? Immorality and forbidden sexual relations. So they want to religiously, tell you who you can and can't have sex with, and that's not your business. That's their business. I'm not cool with that. You can be cool with that. I'm not. Prohibition on removing and eating the limb from a live animal. Okay, that's cool. Requirement to establish a justice system and courts of law to enforce the 6 other laws. And these statutes are punishable by death. Right here. This is a proclamation, April 14th, 1989. Proclamation 5956. And this puts Noahide laws into U.S. law. Do you know that? Hi, I wanted to know, what are the punishments for violating Noahide laws? Does the punishment vary depending on which law was broken? Thanks. According to Torah laws, each of the Noahide commandments has some definition of severe transgression that makes a deliberate transgressor liable to capital punishment in God's name. Cool. Well, you know what? There's so much more that we could cover and that we could talk about and that we could go over. But the bottom line is y'all need to wake the fuck up. Okay? Don't support any federal bullshit because they want to come into your backyard and eliminate you and put who they want to be there. That's what you're dealing with. And all of the things happening are going to support that. I'm sorry. It's your fear that makes you not see this, but you should not have that fear. Because the only power they have over you is through that fear. That's why you'll see everything that supports it is fear-based. And what they want is they want a reaction of moral outrage. So let's think about voting, okay? So you cast your vote, and then the rulers that be say, well, the majority won. So now that you, as an individual, have a problem with it, don't blame us. Blame these assholes that you live with. It's their fault. When the bottom line is we kind of all just want the same thing, right? Like we really kind of all just want the same thing. We all want happiness. We all want love. We all want peace. We all want to be sustained by life around us. And there is plenty around us to be sustained. Scarcity is a lie. Anything that drives fear in you is a lie. Fear is not a real emotion. Fear is a manipulation technique that has been forced into your psyche by sociopaths and narcissists who don't give a fuck about you. Wake the fuck up. Good night.